Hello everyone, thank you so much for joining me for this video today. So in this video I wanted to give you guys some study tips because it's that time of the year again, or maybe you've already finished exams, I don't know. But I know a lot of you are about to take exams, and if you're already done with exams then you can just refer back to this later. I'm going to try it and go really fast so that this isn't boring, but I'll probably leave something out, so if I do, then just check the description of this video to see if there's anything else that I missed. So just a really quick rundown of my scholastic background, I guess. So I was a decent student in high school. I think I made just like 1 or 2 B's and 1 or 2 C's or something like that. And in undergrad, I was a terrible student and I dropped out a few times because I was having like mental health problems. I'm not going to go into that in this video, but undergraduate was like a really hard time for me. But in graduate school, I made a 4.0. So what I'm going to talk about in this video is how I made such good grades, or basically study tips that really helped me, and they'll probably help you too if you follow them and do what I say. I kept all of my notebooks for a couple of years, but then recently I did the life-changing magic of tidying up, and I got rid of all of my notebooks from before, so I don't have examples to show you, unfortunately. Okay, so my first tip is to focus on one grade at a time. So it's really easy to get overwhelmed if we look at all the tests and papers and all of this stuff that we have coming up. So what I always did was I focused on the soonest grade and focused completely on that. Like it doesn't matter like how much weight it is given or whatever, because any A helps, or any good grade helps. So whatever is the next test or the next paper, the next quiz, whatever, the next presentation, focus on that. So if you have a you have a test on Wednesday and a presentation on Friday, focus on that Wednesday test or quiz or whatever. Focus on that 100%, and then you can worry about the one on Friday. I know not everyone's going to agree with this, but this is what worked for me and made me make the best grades, is that I focused on whatever was soonest. And you can also, if you have time, you can focus on both of those. You know, whatever's that week, just focus on whatever grades are that week. So you could focus on working on both the presentation and the exam, studying for that, and working on your presentation. But if there's something like 3 weeks away, you know, even if your teacher's like, don't put it off to the last minute, but you have like all of this other stuff for these other classes, like seriously, put that stuff off. Like, don't focus on just whatever teacher is hardest or overbearing or whatever. Just focus on whatever grade is coming up soonest. So my next tip is to, along those same lines, make a plan for the entire semester. So a lot of times, I don't know, when I was in high school, they would like give us these agendas or like these little like planners, and maybe you might buy a planner or something like that, but that's not what I did. In my notebook, and I wish I had an example to show you, but in my notebook I would look at the syllabus for the class, which is like the plan for the entire class. I would combine all of my syllabi into one master agenda for myself, and this, you think that this is like time consuming or whatever. It relieves so much stress. This is just a crappy notebook that I have lying around. I haven't written anything in it, but just so I can like have some sort of thing to hold. So you would write every single date down. So I don't remember how I did this. I think I did like the week. I think I would write like the week right here, and then I would put like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then Saturday, Sunday. I don't remember exactly, like, you can do it however you want. I think sometimes I would just put the week, the dates of the week, and then write Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, but whatever. Anyways, so just in your notebook, make your own like agenda and write down what you're going to do that day. So, and like I said, focus on the grade that's coming up. So all of your studying and writing and reading and preparation or whatever should focus on that grade that's coming, or the grade or grades. Sorry, I'm messing with the white balance, but focus on the grades or grades that are coming up the soonest. So just write down the dates or the days of the week, and write down, read pages blah 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 through blah blah blah, study notes, highlight notes, retype notes, and I'll get to that in a minute. Prepare for presentation, whatever. and just keep that all written down in your notebook, and then you can refer back to this. And this is basically like a to-do list for you, but you'll have it all planned out for, you don't have to do the entire semester if you get tired of writing or you just don't know like what you're going to be doing then or whatever, but just do for the upcoming like couple of months, maybe like 1 or 2 months. I think I would do it at least 2 months in advance. So, and this will actually relieve a lot of stress and give you like a clear plan of what you are going to be doing, and then you'll have it like set in your mind about what you need to study that day, so you don't have to just like try and figure it out as you go along. You'll have it all planned out according to which grade is coming up the soonest. And then after you finish that, you can just mark it out, which also is a stress reliever. If you've done highlighting your notes or whatever, you can just go ahead and cross out the thing that you were supposed to do that day. If you're done writing that essay or whatever, you can just cross it out, and it'll relieve a lot of stress for you to be able to do that. So the next one is to take good notes, and this is very important. So when you're in class, really have your notebook out, have your favorite pen, and just, or a couple of pens if you want to do like different colors or something. Write down as much as you can from what the teacher says. So yeah, basically just write down as much as you can. I remember in undergraduate, some people would look at me funny for doing this because I would be like writing down basically like everything the professor said, but it was very helpful and helped me make good grades in those classes when I did that. In graduate school, people didn't bat an eye, like it was like normal for me to be taking notes the whole time. So just write down everything the professor says if you can. Like, I guess that might be a skill you have to acquire. Like, I'm sure by the time I got to grad school, I was way better at writing quickly and stuff like that, but you know, just try and write down as much as you can from what the teacher says, and that'll also just give you something to do so you're not bored. Just try and like write everything down. Okay, and then when you are studying for the test for that class, type up or rewrite your notes in neater handwriting. So for some people, they will prefer to type their notes, which is what I preferred doing. You know, I had my written notes, but then I would, and you know, this was my part, the first part of my studying would be to type the notes. And while you're typing them, you know, you'll be paying like half attention to it, and you'll study a little bit that way, but also you'll just, after you print those out, you'll have a nice, neat set of notes that you can study. So yeah, rewrite your notes in super duper neat handwriting, because when you're trying to write down everything the teacher says, you won't necessarily have good handwriting. So a good way to just go over everything for another time to study it is to rewrite it very neatly. So one, you'll be studying it a little bit as you rewrite it, but also when you want to study those notes, you'll have a much nicer, neater set of notes to study. Okay, so then you're going to want to do a couple of passes of studying your notes, or just like a couple of passes of studying in general. Oh, and if you have gaps in your notes, then type notes from the chapter in the book. So if you like missed a day, or your notes are pretty sparse for that subject or whatever, refer to your textbook and type up or write out some notes that you think are like the key points of that chapter or section or whatever. Okay, so then once you have your notes written or typed up, you're going to want to highlight. So you're just going to want to highlight the things that you think are the most important, or just whatever will help you jog your memory. So highlight, you know, the most important things, or just the bold terms. You know what I mean. Like if you have to memorize a definition, highlight the word and then highlight like bits and pieces of the definition. Like, I don't know, just highlight what you think you should highlight, basically. You know, highlight the key phrases, basically. After you finish highlighting everything, the next step you're going to want to do is take a pen that's a different color than what you wrote in or what you typed in, and and then underline the things that you highlighted. Or you can underline other things too, if you missed it the first time around and you figure out that it's kind of something important. So first highlight it, and then underline what you've highlighted or extra things that you notice, and then yeah, And pay attention to what you're highlighting, pay attention to what you're underlining, obviously. After you finished highlighting all of the important things, and this is, I'm trying to go through it quickly, but obviously this is going to be kind of time consuming. I mean, you should take a couple of hours to study for every test and all that stuff if you want to make an A on it, or B, whatever your level is in whatever your expertise is in the subject. So after you're done highlighting and underlining everything, then you're just going to want to read it a couple of times. So just read it, and then the things that are highlighted and underlined will stick out most to you. So make sure that you've highlighted and underlined the most important things, because those, when you read your notes, are going to stick out to you. So have your notes with you on the day of the test and while you're waiting. Yeah, I know I can remember a lot of people kind of like making fun of people who were cramming. They would say, like, if you haven't learned it yet, you're not going to learn it now, or something stupid like that. So don't pay attention to those people. Like, read your notes again before you take the test, because that's just another run through of your notes, and it'll be helpful and it'll help you remember everything again. So read your notes as many times as you can, and I think that will be really helpful. The thing that helped me most in school was either taking really good notes during the class or taking really good notes from the textbook, or combining both of them. Highlight everything, underline everything, read it as many times as you have time to, and you should be good. The last tip I have is, if you are taking a subject that you are completely hopeless in, hopefully by graduate school you won't be taking any classes that you're completely hopeless in, but you might, I don't know. But especially if you're in high school, like, you have to take all of these core, in college, you have to take, or in undergraduate, you have to take all of these core curriculum classes that you might be really not good at, because very few of us are good at all subjects. Personally, I am awful at math and science. Like, I'm really interested in science, like, I love science, but the actual application of science I'm not that good at, just purely because of the math that is often involved. If there is a subject that you are hopeless in but you still want to make a good grade in, I would recommend getting tutoring. There were plenty of campus resources for tutoring. If you are in high school, you can also go to your fellow students or teachers or whatever after class. I don't know. Anyways, if it's at all possible for you, get tutoring in the subjects that you are hopeless in. So you can either get tutoring from a student resource if you're in college, or from a fellow student if you're in high school, or your teacher. You can meet with them after class and ask for extra help. So yeah, if it's a subject that you're good at, or like, you're good at as long as you study, then don't worry about getting tutoring. But for the classes that you really need tutoring, if you can get it at all, then please have, make friends or whatever with one of the smartest kids in class or whatever who is willing to help you. I remember when I was taking trigonometry, I sat next to a girl who was like a math whiz, and I'm pretty sure I drove her insane asking for her help constantly, but without her help I would have made even worse of a grade than I already did. I'm pretty sure I made like a 79. Okay, so that's everything. Take really good notes and study your notes, and be really organized. Have to-do lists. Mark things off of your to-do list after you finish them. Focus on the grade that's coming up soonest, and if it's a subject that you're hopeless in, get tutoring, please. Good luck to everyone who's taking exams or tests or having to do presentations. This is just a quick rundown of some study tips. I didn't give any tips on doing presentations or anything like that, because that's beyond the scope of this video. If you want me to make a video about like giving other tips as far as like giving presentations or anything like that, then feel free to request it below in the comments, and I will try and make another video. My voice is running out, so I'm gonna have to go now. So that is it for this video. I hope something in this video was helpful. Don't hesitate to ask any questions in the comments, or offer your own advice to people in the comments below. And please follow me on my social networks. I am on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram and Tumblr and Snapchat and all that stuff. All those links will be below. And also, you could consider becoming a patron if you like my content and you want to support my channel. Oh, and last, before I end this video, I wanted to thank you guys so much for all the support you gave me in my last video, the people who watched my last video and left a really nice comment. I wanted to thank you guys so much, and the people who contacted me on Twitter and stuff like that, and Facebook also. Thank you guys so much for the flood of support and just uplifting words that you had and kind words, and just honestly, I would not be making this video right now if it wasn't for reading all of you guys' comments, because like, you know, eventually all those comments like really added up to making me feel so much better. Still, every time I go and read another comment from that video or anything like that, I get a boost of energy. So yeah, thank you guys so much for all those nice comments. It really, like seriously, I would not be making this video right now if it wasn't for all those nice comments. I will hopefully be making another video next week. Alright, that is all for me. Have an amazing day. Okay, bye!